La grande question est quels sont les documents qu'ils ont décidé de refuser de faire public. On n'a aucune information concernant les raisons pour lesquelles ils ont refusé de mettre sur la table les documents qui ne seront pas là. Alors ça, c'est la plus grande question. Deuxièmement, est-ce qu'il y aura beaucoup de rédaction là-dedans? On ne sait pas. On va aller voir cet après-midi. Mais encore une fois, c'était un processus qui n'était pas transparent. J'imagine qu'il y aura plus de questions après qu'avant.
What about the process now?
Oui, parce que c'est évident que la meilleure façon de traiter cette situation, c'est avec une enquête où on peut être assuré de transparence complète. Le processus adopté par le gouvernement faire plus difficile à la public, aux médias et aux députés de savoir ce qui était dans les documents. Well, the big question will be which documents did they not release? We're not going to know, and we're not going to know what they what those documents had to say. What about the blackening out, the redaction of documents? Are the documents going to be filled with black marks so that we won't know what's there? We always believed that there should be an open and transparent process that involved a full inquiry to get to the bottom of this. We suspect that there'll be more questions than answers once they table these documents today.
After 1 year and a half of a crisis on this issue, what do you think you will find in these documents that are now
on va continuer de demander une enquête et on va lire les documents, évidemment, c'est notre tâche, mais on va continuer à demander au gouvernement quels sont les documents qui n'étaient pas faire publics et qu'est-ce qu'on peut trouver dans ces documents-là. Peut-être, vous avez raison. Et c'est la question qu'on doit demander. On doit essayer de chercher des informations en utilisant les autres outils qui sont disponibles. Mais c'est un gouvernement secret, c'est un gouvernement qui ne veut pas dévoiler les informations. C'est bien connu. Et j'imagine que cet après-midi, on va voir la même chose.
What is the appropriate time to see these documents?
Ils ont choisi une date qui va prévenir aux parlementaires de demander les questions à la Chambre des communes.
Which is going to preclude members from asking questions during question period. I mean, we only have 1 day before we expect to finish our work for the summer recess in a day or two. So this is a very cynical approach. Will I be told that it was just yesterday that all of a sudden they finished the work of the committee? I mean, this is lacking credibility.
Oh, I'm sure they're trying their best, but the point is that there will inevitably be some documents that they're not releasing, unless they're prepared to tell us. We decided to release absolutely everything with nothing marked out and nothing redacted. I think that would be quite surprising if that was the result. And let's remember, this is a committee, of course, in which the government itself also was participating. We've been of the belief that this process was putting a cone of silence over the revelation of the truth, and the fact that we're going to see documents just simply leaves us with the question, which documents didn't you show us, and why not?
What's the NDP's latest strategy with the back-to-work legislation in terms of trying to delay it, not trying to delay it, facing the possibility of closure? What's the latest?
Well, we hope to see a resolution. We understand that talks are still underway. And that's what we encourage. That would be by far the best solution. And the government should take the padlocks off the postal service of this country. I don't know why they're leaving them on. Mr. Harper says that, in answer to my question yesterday, he says it's very important for the economy. Well, if it's that important, take the locks off the doors so that people can deliver the mail. And so it obviously isn't because it's important to the economy. There's something else at work here. And we intend to fight the legislation every step of the way, using whatever procedural maneuvers are possible within the House of Commons to give more time for the employer and the worker to work, the workers to come up with some kind of a solution here. Well, that may well be the case, yes. 2, 1, 2.
Are you going to be continuing to obstruct what is being done? Well, we are prepared to do so. But how far will you go? Well, we're going to use all the tools that we have at our disposal so that a total, complete debate take place on this legislation.
So are we. Well, we intend to have a very thorough debate of all aspects of the legislation, and if that allows some more time so there can actually be a resolution of this matter at the bargaining table, well, then we'll have accomplished a very important objective.
Some of your MPs are talking, they're using the term filibuster, and they're using the term 25 to 30 hours. Is that estimate fair? Are you going to speak it be overnight?
Well, our members of Parliament have a lot to say about this legislation. They're very concerned about the government's approach to workers, coming in with legislation that would roll back people's salaries. I think all Canadians should be concerned. Are we dealing with a government here that's going to come in and roll back people's salaries that have been offered by an employer? A government that's willing to take away people's pensions? I mean, is that the kind of government we're dealing with here? Well, if that's the case, then we better be challenging this legislation, and we'll be doing it. And our members are going to want to speak on this matter at the different stages that are in front of us in terms of the bill. We think that it's important to stay at work to do this kind of thing.
But Mr. Layton, how torn are you between defending the rights of workers and listening to Canadians who aren't interested in this postal dispute?
Well, first of all, there's a very simple solution here to get the Postal Service back on the road, and that is for the Prime Minister to take the locks off the doors of the Canada Post facilities. The workers are prepared to come and deliver the mail. There's only one man standing in the way of the Postal Service being started up again right now, and that's Stephen Harper. He's got the key to the lock.
No, but whose side are you on? The workers or Canadians who want their mail?
Well, there's a lot of Canadians who are very concerned about a government that would actually roll back their salaries or take away their pensions. They're concerned when a government is going to be so high-handed as to do that. And so I think there's a lot of Canadians with, of course, a variety of points of view on this issue. We'd like to see a resolution of it because there's no question that small businesses and others are really relying on the Postal Service. Right now, the guy with the key, Stephen Harper, is refusing to open the doors of the sorting facilities and the delivery facilities. The workers are ready to deliver the mail. It's Prime Minister Harper who's stopping them from getting their mail and their checks right now. Well, it seems pretty obvious to me that Canada Post and the government have been in some kind of discussions because if you just look at the way the legislation is constructed and the timing of when it was brought in, it's pretty much impossible for me to believe that there were no discussions. And I asked the Prime Minister specifically about this yesterday, and he wouldn't deny it, which I thought was quite interesting.
Will you be having obstruction? You do want to have a debate on the bill?
On va étudier nos options, mais on va étudier les documents. C'est
but we're going to be studying the documents that we have to do first and foremost, and we'll have a consultation with our spokespersons on this to find out whether or not there are other approaches, initiatives, tools that we can use to reveal the truth in these circumstances.
On a plusieurs options, mais on va les évaluer.
And we'll evaluate them all. I don't want to give you the name of the options now. All of a sudden, the committee is making the documents public. Yes, but 1 year after we asked them to do so. And the government and the committee, I would think,
retenu plusieurs de ces documents. Et ces documents restent en secret.
The documents remain
Alors
secret.
C'est inutile.
So it's useless.
Why is it so important for Canadians to know what happened to detainees, especially as this mission is winding down?
Well, the key question here is whether or not there was any of the authorities involved here, the government or anyone in the chain of command, who might have exposed our brave soldiers and armed forces personnel to the violation of international law by ordering or allowing or refusing to acknowledge and change a practice that was resulting potentially in the torture of people that had been brought into custody by our armed services personnel and then turned over to a situation where torture was taking place. And that's an extremely serious situation if it was allowed to happen. And there was every evidence prior to the request for these documents that that was taking place, and that's why we wanted to see what those documents had to say. And the government came up with a process. They bamboozled two of the other parties into becoming a part of it, and now documents are going to be revealed, but we're going to not know which ones they've kept back. And those will naturally be the ones that tell the essence of those kinds of that address the essence of the problem.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.